Hey guys, welcome back to Math with Marilyn. Before we get started, make sure to grab a pencil and paper so that you can take proper notes as you follow along. So today's topic is subtracting integers. And on these particular notes, I only think it's necessary for you to copy what I have highlighted, and then I will explain the rest. So again, our topic for today is subtracting integers. The key rule or point when subtracting integers is that you need to remember to add your opposites. The phrase that we use is keep, change, opposite. So I know that's a little bit different than what's written here, but instead of saying change twice, I decided to make it keep, change, opposite. So go with what I'm giving you. Keep, change, opposite. All right, so what does that mean? Basically, they're going to give you an example, and you're going to use this little phrase to guide you in order to rewrite your problem as an addition problem so that we can stick with using those same rules that we used to add integers with same sign and different signs from my previous videos, part 1 and part 2. So this just means they're going to give you an example. They expect for you to keep the first number the same, for you to change your subtraction to back to addition, and then for you to take that last integer and switch it to its opposite. Remember, opposite means opposite signs. So for example, if that last number is -7, you're going to change it to its opposite, which would be +7. All right, so I'm going to show you some examples so that we can put a visual with this definition to make it make more sense. So we're just going to do a few together. All right, so our first example asks us to simplify 7 minus -5. So the first thing that I'm asking you to do is to rewrite the problem. Again, when you see these subtraction or subtracting integer problems, our goal is to get it back to addition because typically addition problems are a little bit easier to work with because they don't have so many different signs. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is rewrite this. So I'm going to use the letter R to indicate that I'm rewriting my problem. Remember, the phrase says to keep, change, opposite. I'll write it off to the side here. Keep, change, opposite. All right, so in our first example, we're going to keep the first integer the same. We're going to change our subtraction to addition. And then the last integer, we're going to take the opposite of it. So since it's -5 here, the opposite of that is going to be +5. So now my new expression looks way more simple. So my new expression is 7 plus 5. And obviously we know that that is +12. All right, let's try another one. Again, you're going to rewrite your expression. You're going to follow the phrase that says keep, change, opposite. So I'm going to keep -10 the same. I'm going to change my subtraction to addition. And then I'm going to take the opposite of that last integer, which is 3. So the opposite of 3 is going to be -3. So when you rewrite it, it should look like you see here. And then you go back to your rules for adding integers. So you have to determine if you have the same signs or different signs. In this case, we're adding 2 integers with the same sign. So we're going to add our numbers, 10 plus 3, to get 13. And we're going to keep the sign. So once you do your rewrite, then you go back to the rules for adding integers. All right, let's try one more, and then I'm going to let you practice on your own. All right, so again, my R is for rewrite. Following my phrase, keep the first number the same. Change my subtraction to addition. Take the opposite of the last integer. So the opposite of -9 is +9. And then you go back to your rules for adding integers. So in this case, you're adding two integers, that have different signs. So you end up having to subtract. So 9 minus 5 gives me 4. And then 9 is larger than 5. And it's positive, so my answer is going to stay positive. I'm going to show you really quick the plus minus symbol strategy that I like to use just to check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 negatives, and I'm going to add to that 9 positives. Hopefully you remember from our previous lessons that whenever you have a negative and a positive of the same value and you're combining them, they cancel out. So in this case, everywhere I have a negative and a positive, I can say it's going to cancel itself out. And as you can see, I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4 plus signs, which means positive 4, which is what we have. All right, so again, I hope that was clear. Just to recap for you really quick, we just went over subtracting integers. The key phrase for you to remember is keep, change, opposite, which means that you're going to keep your first number the same. You're going to change the subtraction to addition, and then you're going to take the opposite of that last number. Take the opposite. Remember, opposite changes the sign. So if it's -7, it becomes +7. So this was subtracting integers. Hopefully that was helpful. If you need to, please refer back to videos, part 1 and 2 of adding integers. This section or these sections are very important when you're moving into pre-algebra or algebra. So you want to make sure that you master these topics. Again, thank you for joining me with Math with Marilyn. Make sure to click like and share. And I look forward to working with you next time.